What's popping?
Coronavirus. Shit is getting
Shit
real.
real. The shit is real. What's good now? What's new? What's the
Man,
news?
people are starting to come out now, Sha. Um, People are taking walks and stuff. I guess people are just tired of being inside their house. So
Yeah.
it's
I
good.
don't know. Is it just me or is it feeling less and less like
People are
there's a
taking it
pandemic
less
actually
serious
going
now,
on
cool.
now? Yeah.
I think
It's
it's like
feeling
a
less.
global holiday now. Like,
Yeah. It just feels like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as serious as it was
mm,
feeling before.
yeah, I think it's exactly the same here. Like, people just don't send it in again. Like, everybody's like, I beg.
And so I
Um,
remember, like, I remember when it just started, like, when I was watching all the news and reading everything. Guy, I was washing my hand like 25, 30 times a day. But, like, now I don't even remember to even do it again at all. Maybe because it's just me in the house, though. Not like I'm going anywhere with it. But, like, that time, even when I was just in the house, like, the level of paranoia I was at, like, I'll just wash. If I should not mistakenly even cross my door to go, like, to the front of the house outside, when I come back in, like I'm doing like a full disinfection process. Use Lysol, take my bath, do everything. But now it's just like it just feels way less serious now, even though like numbers are still going up and stuff.
Yeah, I think the thing is, okay, part of the reports I was saying was like, a lot of us may have caught it and then have kind of healed from it. So we may actually just be walking around with antibodies now. So
Yeah,
some of us are essentially now immune to it without even knowing.
yeah,
So I'm thinking people are also thinking the same kind of thing at the back of their mind, and then the thing is, human beings cannot stay in emergency for too long. Like people will just get tired and be like, you know what, if I die, I die.
I don't think it's even if I die, I die. It's like just that we are not seeing it in front of us. Like if for example, now you just came out your door and then you saw somebody literally dying from coronavirus, man. Yeah,
Abi,
trust me, that will you for a while. That will stick with you for a while. But just everybody still looks okay. You go out, just looks like everywhere is quiet, nothing is happening. You just feel like looking something happen. And it's just on TV, you're watching everything, and there's always that disconnect when it's on TV. You're not actually seeing
yeah,
it.
exactly. You don't know anybody that died. Like,
Exactly. It
yeah,
will only really affect you, somebody within your close quarters,
yeah,
kind of that's it. Oh, but like so for real, you're saying there's a possibility that people have already even kind of caught it and then
yeah.
like outlived
Because the thing is, the numbers they have, the numbers they are reporting is
it.
based on models and then based on people that they've tested. Like, they've not tested everybody. Like, for example, now they've not tested you, so they don't know if you've caught it and then on like healed from it.
But there's a way to detect if somebody has actually gotten and then healed
Not
from it.
really.
Though
Okay, yeah, if they test your blood, they should be able to find the antibodies for coronavirus in your body. You know, like stuff like measles, for example. Now we have measles antibodies. So basically, any sickness you've gotten, the antibodies for it in your body already. So they can essentially tell if someone has had a disease before.
okay, I know. So now the unfortunate thing is that they are not testing people that are healthy. Like you have to have hit like a level of symptoms. You have to be showing a level of symptoms for the test because they are trying to manage the test kits and then all the resources. They are literally trying to usefully use the resources they have. So there will be no way exactly now for them to detect if people have actually developed antibodies
Yeah,
like for the coronavirus just because they won't want to even test somebody that is like fully healthy in the first place.
as in the fact that they don't waste any time on people that don't have
Maybe
issue
what
at
they should,
all.
maybe what they should do, which sounds like, as I'm even about to say, it doesn't exactly sound like something that would make a whole lot of sense.
Mm,
Uh, but like maybe they could try to do something like if you've been sick recently, like if you fell ill recently, and then you know that you obviously recovered. Like me now, I fell ill recently, and at the beginning I was thinking I was paranoid and everything that it was corona, but like as it played out, it turned out to be just regular malaria, which as an African, more very regular stuff now that we
as
do
in
through here.
on a daily.
I'd say that is just very, very regular stuff. Like I didn't have any cold symptoms or any flu-like symptoms, which is the coronavirus, sure. But like I don't know. Like I don't. It could be a possibility, right?
Yeah, exactly. It could be because most people don't even show any symptoms at all, and then some people might just show mild symptoms of just like small sicknesses, and it might not be any serious anything. Especially if you are younger and then you are healthy.
Yeah. Yes,
Uh,
right. But like the whole age, this thing too is like factors into it.
yeah, factors in, and then if you have maybe you have stuff like diabetes and this thing, because I was seeing they were talking about it today, even though the news was kind of annoying when they were dealing with it. They were talking more about like it's affecting black people in America a lot
Yeah,
more
I
than.
saw that thing.
But then
I
they
saw
made
that thing.
it
Like, no,
sound like
no
it's a
one,
racist something. And I'm like, nobody sent you guys to have diabetes. Like, it's
that's
on
what it
you
is.
now. Is it?
I saw some stats that like in Chicago now, which has like a 30% black population, 70% of the people that have died from coronavirus are black
Mm,
people.
yeah.
But okay, you just said this whole thing about diabetes. Like me when I saw it, me I was thinking maybe like low kilo, like the
Mm.
underlying factor might be poverty and then a lack of
Not
direct access
really. Like,
to
okay,
stuff.
black people, at least the black population here, has one of the highest diabetes rates,
That's just
hypertension,
drugs,
like
but that kind
drug
that
use, all those kind of things. So, like, all those things factor in. When you remove them, the people that will be left that will that are kind of like fit, do not do drugs, do not have diabetes, and this thing, there are very few.
but like the whole thing with diabetes is that it's probably because of your nutrition now and
Yeah.
like most likely it's because of like a lack of um resources to get the kind of to get healthy food or prevent against something like that. That's
Not
the
not
major thing.
okay, not entirely, but I'll say okay. Let me throw some statistics out there. The numbers are not completely correct, so nobody should. If you fact check me and see that the numbers are a little wrong, is your business. I'm not a newscaster. Anyway, the thing is, okay, there's these like government assistance that they give to people who have whose income is below a certain level, Abi. So like they
Okay,
give you a card and then the card has like money inside, but you can't withdraw the money. You can only use it to buy food. You can't use it to get drugs. You can't use it to get gas. You can't use it to get other stuff. But you can use it and buy
okay,
food. That
okay,
EBT that they're always shouting about. So
okay.
on EBT, about one quarter of the money spent using EBT, the EBT card, the money
Mm-hmm.
essentially is used to buy candy.
Mm-hmm.
One quarter, or then another good percentage like covers other things like just snacks, just like stuff, non-food items. You get
Yeah,
so like um for example now I'm a student. I don't exactly earn particularly much. My income is very, very low. But I still can
yeah,
eat very healthy because like it's not you don't really need because I cook, which is a
yeah,
very important part of eating healthy. If you cook,
yeah,
you save a lot of money, one, and
yeah,
then you can't be able to actually watch what is entering your body.
yeah.
So, like eating fast
True.
food now, fast food has a lot of sugars. If you like, in general, if you eat outside, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter really about your race self when it comes to that one. You will definitely drink soda. Soda has a lot of sugar.
Yeah,
Um, in the morning when they are going to work, you most likely stop at Starbucks and get Starbucks coffee. Starbucks has more sugar than a bottle of Coke, one cup of Starbucks.
true.
So, like,
Let me play devil's advocate, like
okay.
for the people that would probably make decisions like that. Say for example, now you're like a single mom and then you have like two, three kids and stuff, and then
Mm,
they have to go to school and you're working maybe like two, three jobs because you have to take care of them and
mm-hmm,
all, and you're trying to make ends meet. Like it's going to probably be tougher to be able to, have to do all your jobs, work all those shifts and then take care of this kid and then still come back and be cooking like every time. So most likely it will be easier or more comfortable, like for you to just go eat at a fast food joint and then get something like, for your kids. too.
You know,
Like that,
the thing is, that's valid, but the problem is, each time you pick convenience in any aspect of your life, you're sacrificing something else in order to get that convenience. So it's not as if
yeah.
you don't know that, okay, as you're sacrificing, what you're sacrificing for the
But
convenience of
if you
fast
say
food
the
is
only reason
health.
why the person is going for that convenience is because of all the sacrifices already. Like there's already a whole bunch of sacrifices being made.
Okay, considering it's hard for me to actually, what they call it, to empathize with someone like that, sha, because I work like between school and my job, and
Yeah,
then like everything. I end up putting in 60 to 80 hours a week too. Like most times when you call me around like 3 o'clock, I'm awake because I'm still grinding and stuff. So one cannot tell me that is like how long does it really take to prepare food though? And it's not as if you have to make a fresh meal every day. Like preparing food doesn't you can do it in kind of bulk and then kind of like maybe you pick a day in a week, like maybe it's Saturday and use it and do some meal prep and then your children too. I kind of sort them. So like they meet you halfway. Okay, I have some like gravy cooked. I have some meat in the freezer. You have some rice boiled, some beans, some veggies and stuff like that. And then you have some maybe like cut vegetables and then some fruits. And then bread and small things in the house around. So when they come from school, like the one for early in the morning when they are going to school, you can pack
yeah,
them their lunch. Like you can like do meal prep for that one too. It's
yeah,
when they are younger, it's not too bad if they even like eat like pre-processed food to some extent. So you don't have to overgo this thing like that. And then most schools even feed the students in the school, so you just give them money and they are good.
yeah. But I think they say I've seen that most of like the school food is even problematic in itself. Like the ingredients they use and stuff like that. Like it has all the GMO stuff and then because they are saving costs. Like anytime they have to do bulk cooking like that, they probably buy all this,
The thing
you know,
is, most if you look into what GMO is and all those organic this thing, it's just marketing. Yeah, essentially when you eat GMO and non-GMO, like even the non-GMO things are still GMO. Like if you crossbreed like two types of mango now
yeah,
without entering the lab, you just put them together, let them pollinate each other. That is GMO already. So because something is GMO doesn't necessarily mean it's unhealthy. Like essentially every plant we have is GMO. And organic doesn't entirely mean it is rid of you using like chemicals. There's like I've forgotten, there's a way the law is kind of convoluted, but there's a way they can still use chemicals. So just because it's organic doesn't actually mean is, and organic food is not even sustainable. Like if everybody decides to adopt organic food, we'll all starve because they can't actually produce it at scale.
yeah.
And for me, for example, I don't eat anything that is non-GMO. Like I look for the GMO option for it because it's cheaper. I look for the one
Yeah.
that has gluten and all those stuff because it's sweeter. And I'm pretty healthy to a good extent because everything is about
Who
balance.
told you
Like,
you're healthy? Who told you you're healthy?
excuse
So
me, I'm
like
very healthy. I did not die from coronavirus. I'm very healthy. Excuse me. I don't have any.
that's
I'm not diabetic. My blood pressure is very good. I
you need
actually
to
go
use the
for.
gym.
No,
Yeah,
I go for checkup. Like it's part of what I pay for my insurance. So I actually go for checkup from time to time, and they let me know how my health is.
okay, that's dope. But like, it would be much nicer if you could actually find some time to hit the gym. This would be my own recommendation to you because
That,
inside healthy,
that one is
being
more
healthy.
about fitness now. Like it's not
Yeah,
really.
being fit is actually because most of these conditions like that it doesn't exist now does not mean like there's no window for it to actually still come into play.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
sometimes
I know I actually need to get a little bit more fit. Like right now, I'm
you,
not in a good place when it comes to fitness. So I
yeah,
won't
you need
even
to be
argue
fit
that one.
and you need your babe too to look at you and be like, oh yum, yum,
Uh,
yum, yum.
Abby. uh,
Uh,
but
yeah,
yeah,
but
the thing is, just like work should not kind of, because you kind of have to even be healthy to work now. And then like if you want to even pass on anything to your children self, is that kind of like good habit of this thing. So I feel like just because you are working plenty jobs doesn't mean you still can't find time to take care of yourself or something.
same.
Like, and
When I was watching the news reel, it was
mm,
on this thing CNN. And I know CNN, they are always trying to approach the news from this very progressive form of
yeah,
report. Like they are like pro racist, like they are not racist, but they are like pro every race and then pro immigrants and stuff like that. So they don't want to exactly say anything hurtful or anything, that will
yeah,
kind of
they feel they kind of try to cause fight where there's no fight sometimes. Like, because I think I saw a clip of that stuff, and like all they called like three black people to come and talk about like this thing, and none of the people that were called are like this kind of nutrition experts or like people that like epidemiologists or people who actually have any scientific background
Oh, did
relating
any of
to.
them actually state like any particular reason why? Oh, okay, I think wait, the guy was he kept on saying one thing. He was like, is it a lack of basic and fundamental infrastructure to support the black people in black neighborhoods or something like that? I think he made a statement like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the thing is sometimes when you hear people talk, but I like, wait, is it as if you don't understand the country you're in, or like you want the government to entirely come and marry you? Like, understand that things are hard, especially like on when it comes to race issues. This is why most times I used to try to avoid talking about it because they'll say you didn't live it, you don't understand it. But
yeah.
the thing is,
Imagine,
it's not as if I don't have eyes and I cannot like come to a conclusion based on, like, I'm a scientist. I should be able to investigate things and then look at data and it makes sense to me because um for example now, if someone dies and police come to investigate, why would we trust the investigation? Were they there when the person died? But like when the facts speak for themselves, you can kind of at least come to a conclusion. I'm not
yeah,
saying the conclusion I come to is always right, but at least you can't just dismiss me because I didn't live. Me
yeah,
too. I have my own different experiences where I can bring in something different too. So,
yeah,
and like some of this stuff, sha, it's not necessarily like everything can, any problem you have can always be made to look as if okay, there's one big bad person that is causing all of it, or government needs to do more. But
yeah.
like, how much control do you want government to have in your life? Like, government was not part of the creation of those children. Um, if your income is kind of low like that, then there's that whole like you'll be EBT and welfare stuff where you're getting some money to help with the kids, and then the father of the child is supposed to also even give, what they call it, he's supposed to give like child support and stuff. So
Yeah.
like,
That's the father in the picture.
and they are talking as if they are children. You're an adult. Like if you know that the money you're earning cannot support more than one child, don't have more than one child. Like it's just, for me,
I
it's
mean,
just
you
this
could
thing.
say that, but like, it's the unfortunate thing is just that, like, you can, that's like an educated way of looking at things there, but the unfortunate thing is just that not everybody is that educated on this type of
The
stuff.
thing is,
The problem is
okay,
actually sometimes that people are their problems, people are their own
yeah,
problem. Yeah, so, but like, I mean, you can't just now generalize and just it's just fuck you or you don't like you are just on your own for the very reason that like to some people unfortunately they just don't have the tools to have been able to make better decisions to begin with, especially growing up in some specific neighborhoods. That's where I would imagine or see it to be.
okay. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but um, I used to. I had a friend that okay died recently. I used to hang out with a lot, and like his business was in the in the hood. So I've hung out in the hood to a very for a good while, like enough to actually be able to kind of even feel like okay, like people in that neighborhood in that area kind of like see me as one of them. So like when I talk sometimes it's kind of based on experience I've had with them. Like this some things you hear people say, or you kind of you don't want to judge, but you want to empathize. But then you're like, okay, if you think like this, how on earth are you ever going to get out of this kind of situation? Because
Um,
there's a way of thinking sometimes that if you have a problem, that problem is not like it's not going to move from your own head, and it's not going to move from the head of your children. Like sometimes it's just it's small. Like okay, you do the best you can do, and then you at least put that work ethic into your child so that when they get their own chance, they move. Like the thing is, it's not. I'm not denying that like the system is stacked against them, but like it's, that one there isn't really much denying it. But then even the people that are in position to actually help these things, they don't help.
yeah.
What they do is they just come out and complain. Like all those people they called on the TV
Mm-hmm.
for CNN, all of them are educated professors and stuff. Like rather than coming to come and be shouting complaints on this, you can actually ask them how much they have done for their own community, the community that they left. Sometimes they're able to pull funds rather than pulling those funds to come and help. Like you see them fundraising for a politician when you can easily just instead of if you can get those amount of donors, why don't you get those donors and like build schools or like like maybe better living environment, build some playgrounds, some parks, because it's some small things that just change the overall like lifestyle. Once you get some small lifestyle change itself, something like okay, like the diabetes now. Everybody takes sweet and like sweet stuff now, drink gum and ice cream and all that. But like if you have a park now where okay, like people can just come and jog, parents can come and play with their children and all that. Like somehow
Yeah.
they'll end up burning all those calories off without even really thinking about it
But
as exercise.
I think, like if they work, there are actually people on the ground now, say that try to work from the bottom up, and then people like these other ones that are trying to,
Yeah, but my own
influence.
issue is the people at the top. Like the people at the top don't count.
No,
They
but it
manage
should be
and
like
get
a
out.
combination. It should be a combination of like the bottom, like it should be like a bottom up, top down approach where like people on the ground are like trying to build this. People from the top should try to influence politicians, put the right people in place that can actually make policy and then create legislature that will support the creation and then expansion of all these services that can help and support. And then people on the ground should now be the ones like instituting this type of things. Yeah, I feel like it should be a combination of the two.
Yeah,
But I think
like that would be the ideal situation, cool. But it's like you said earlier. Some of it has to do with like education and mindset. The only people
yeah,
who right now have that education and mindset are the people up. So
yeah, yeah,
people up now are supposed to come down to the same level. Like start with maybe
exactly.
your family and your kind of like your extended family. Like just sort those ones out. You don't even have to. Nobody's saying come and change the situation for everybody as a community.
Yeah,
Almost everybody has one successful person in their family. And look at our own system in Nigeria, for example. If one person in an extended family makes it, somehow other people in the lower distance start rising up too. And then their own
yeah,
children are now sorted because of that.
yeah. In a lot of cases, it's actually a ripple effect. In a lot, not all cases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like I feel that would be a good step one. Then people that have the ability to be in government, they can actually enter the government, actually push for sensible legislation. Like, okay, the laws that made things difficult for you. Some of those things can actually be voted out because some rules people don't even know that they are there.
yeah,
Like on both sides, like for every race, all the people that like, because if the thing is, it's you that know where something is pinching you. Someone that does not know that there's a law that prevents him from being able to get a bank loan to start a small business, for example.
yeah, yeah.
If you know, if maybe you have tried and I'm not saying there's a law like that. I'm just like kind of giving an example.
No, no,
But
yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I
uh,
get you.
but like if there's a law like that, someone who is able to get a bank loan now will not know
Yeah.
that such a law exists. You get
Mm-hmm.
because you most times people are only able to see things through their own eyes. You only know about the suffering that you are feeling. You might not know about other people's, especially if you can't have a good life self. So
Yeah.
someone who kind of like lives that this thing and maybe goes all the way into like government and stuff, like you can kind of push for it because um the local government and the state government have a lot more power over what happens to you as a person than the federal government.
Yes, right.
So,
Like a lot
so
of people actually even I noticed that many people fixate on like the federal government and like the highest of positions. Then many times just like
e-
the local powers that be are like the ones that can even effect real change,
exactly,
real time change
real
that can
change.
really
As
affect
in,
one's life.
what they call it now, they're arresting people like in okay, somewhere like okay, like California now, like Colorado, like they cannot
Yeah,
arrest you for smoking weed. In fact, it's very legal to smoke weed. You can open a weed shop and sell weed and this thing. Even though
yeah.
sale of marijuana is illegal at the
Hmm.
federal level, but
Okay,
the president
at the
cannot.
local level.
At the local level, it has become legal because the state government said so, and there's nothing they can do about it. So, yeah, why not actually pick battles you can win and then fight those battles? Because there's a lot of inequality, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, you can't win all at once. You can win everything eventually. The thing is,
Yeah,
the
involve
battles will never
eventually.
finish. And if you are
True.
pushing for things that don't matter, like for
Yeah.
example, now if you want people to start feeling bad because of things their ancestors did, that's not even if you win that battle, okay, everybody feels bad, but then what have you gained from it? At the end of the day, you're shouting for you're not improving like the schools and this thing.
Let
Like
me ask you a question. What do you think? Like being there now and seeing how the whole political climate is and the whole issue of like race, the black people against like the white people and crying of all the pains from slavery and what that did to them. What do you think of the reparations?
for me, I don't believe in that stuff. Like it, I look at it from this angle of if you take money from everybody now, like you make everybody's account zero, Abby,
Hmm.
and then take a
Yeah.
dollar and give it to everybody in America or
Hmm.
almost anywhere in the world, safe. We take a dollar and give it to everybody. The people that are rich now are going to end up being rich again because it's more of mindset than most people because okay they say people who are rich by inheritance go usually
Hmm.
lose 90% of their inheritance within the first 5 years and usually go
Yeah.
bankrupt within the first 10 years. So most people that are actually rich, most people that are billionaires, almost basically everybody that is a billionaire, with the exception of a few, and then millionaires too, are actually people that actually had earned their money. Like they started somewhere. It might not necessarily be at the bottom, but they started
Yeah.
somewhere and they actually built on it and built on it and built on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, now someone that was like maybe an entrepreneur, for example, has already developed himself in such a way that he knows how to offer a service such that he can um he can earn money in exchange for that skill that he has.
Yeah.
Someone now that is a consumer does not know how to do anything else. That $1, he will have to end up spending it on something that is pinching him. For example, you
Yeah.
start feeling a stomach ache, you end up going to go and give that to a doctor. In fact, the doctors are going to collect a bunch of that money back, first of all. Then there's just how the money will just end up distributing itself back to the same people that had it before. So,
Yeah.
and how do you even get reparations? Because okay, who are you taking the money from? Because there's one mad statistics I saw a while ago that out of all the white people in the country right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's only 5% of them that had ancestors that were around during the time of slavery. Most white people here
Mm-hmm.
are between third to first generation immigrants. Basically, everybody in the country are grandchildren or great grandchildren of immigrants. So they came
Mm-hmm.
after slavery, most of them, like 95% of them. So,
Oh
like,
wow.
if my
That
grandfather
this
did
is
not partake in it, why will I
that's
pay?
does that statistic, does it sound correct to you? It
Yeah,
sounds, the number
to a
sounds,
very good extent. Like, if you kind of
sounds
follow the
plausible.
history of US go, like
Yeah,
there was a time where like the borders had were open for a very long time. Like when Irish people were coming and Spanish people were coming and all that. Like the US as we know
yeah.
it today is not the way it was before. Like it was, if you're tired of all
When
that
was, when
modern
was,
and
when was, when was slavery completely abolished? What year?
I'm not sure, but when Abraham Lincoln was president, I think he was the one that abolished it. Let me
Okay.
let me just quickly even Google itself. It's something we should even learn. Let's even know.